Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
The Office of the Prime Minister responds to fears in the wake of that over-the-hill rejuvenation plan.
Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands defends the Education Minister.
2 men face drug charges here in the Magistrates Court today.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, amid concerns that government's over-the-hill rejuvenation plan may push the poor out of those inner-city communities, the Director of Economic Development and Planning has admitted that gentrification is a risk to the new initiative. The fear is that residents may no longer be able to afford to live on properties developed by their landlords. Jillian Gray reports.
Tax incentives for businesses and residents in Baintown and Centreville have been praised as one of the better aspects of the over-the-hill rejuvenation plan. However, those incentives come with the fear of gentrification. Opposition leader Philip Davis said he fears that the poor would be pushed out of these communities by their landlords who will benefit from the incentives. Director of Economic Development in the Office of the Prime Minister, Dr. Nicola Virgil-Roll, acknowledged this concern.
So that was one of the key issues which we brought up initially when we released our work back in December, and we had the town meeting back in December, and so we've built that in terms of project risks that we had to really consider. One of the good things about this process is that we learn from the mistakes of others and the well-intentioned mistakes of others as well and what's happened. So we've been looking and reading up and thinking about gentrification very heavily. Davis
has called on the government to detail how it will deal with this issue and said the rejuvenation document should answer those simple human rights questions. Virgil-Roll said they've looked at a number of models and protections for inner-city residents.
As you offer tax incentives, you also have to make sure that you're thinking about increasing the housing stock and making sure there's affordable housing, decent, good quality, affordable housing. And so that's going to be a major part of this work. The other thing we're looking at is also helping landlords and renters talk to each other. So we've said that we're going to be meeting with landlords, understanding some of their concerns. As we met with tenants, one of the things that we heard about is that many tenants are on a week-to-week basis and may not have proper rental agreements. And so we're going to be working with the legal advisors.
Well, one community resident says she has no fear that residents will be pushed out.
And you don't think people will feel comfortable? No, I don't see it happening. And I feel like as a community, if it happens, somebody will inform the right persons who are in charge that, hey, this thing is being taken advantage of and not by our people.
Virgil-Roll said they will be monitoring rental agreements and other business transactions in targeted inner-city communities, adding they are committed to adjusting the project to ensure residents actually benefit. Consultations with various civic organizations and community groups have begun, and the plan is to have more as the committee pushes ahead with a redevelopment plan.
We've already had many meetings with many groups, over 50 or so meetings, in order to really make sure that we hear what the public's concerns are.
Virgil-Roll said they are working over the next 2 months to finalize the over-the-hill rejuvenation plan, as well as the empowerment bill legislation, so that it can come into effect within the next budget period. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, as residents of Bain and Grantstown raise concerns over gentrification, Deputy Leader of the Progressive Liberal Party, Chester Cooper, says he too is seeking more details on the over-the-hill initiative, noting that information outlined in the white paper recently tabled by the Prime Minister is too broad. Fanique Toot reports.
Very similar to many of the government initiatives, you get broad guidelines. It's a teaser, really. But, I wonder whether the details really have been fleshed out.
On the heels of a town hall meeting on government's over-the-hill rejuvenation plan, PLP Deputy Leader Chester Cooper says he still has more questions than answers on the initiative, which seeks to empower residents and business owners in the inner city.
Who are the owners over the hill? Who own the businesses over the hill? How will this translate into loss of government revenue? How will this revenue be achieved? So I want to see more detail.
The plan, among other things, would provide property owners with incentives to develop their properties, grant significant tax concessions, solid waste management, social empowerment, and community policing. Cooper says he welcomes any initiative that seeks to empower residents of the inner city, but it takes planning to ensure the intended purpose is achieved and the people government is seeking to help actually benefit. He says he plans to seek out those persons involved in the plan to learn more.
We believe as opposition our job isn't just to oppose, but to look to see how we can make a contribution in helping to move our Bahamas forward. This is what my focus is going to be.
The first phase of the initiative targets the Bain and Grantstown and Centerville communities before eventually moving to other inner city communities like St. Barnabas, Englerston, Gambier, Kemp Road, and Fox Hill. However, Cooper says those aren't the only areas in need of economic empowerment and questioned what about a family island development plan.
Economic empowerment cannot just be limited to one small community. This is something we must seek to do across the country. This will be a key platform of the Progressive Liberal Party as we move forward. Young Bahamians in particular want to own their Bahamas. There's great opportunity for development and advancement in our family islands. So really I'd like to hear a family island development plan. I'd like to see an economic empowerment plan for our millennials and our young professionals.
Cooper says he looks forward to the full rollout of the Over the Hill initiative. Reporting for our News, I'm Voinik Tood.
Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands is defending comments by Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd, who has been accused of boasting about firing dozens of contract workers in his ministry. Sands says Lloyd should not be condemned for his straight talk, adding that Bahamians need to come to terms with the fact that the bloated public service needs to be slimmed down. Jasmine Brown has that.
Sands says all the Minnis administration is trying to do is clamp down on an inefficient and bloated public service, a point that Lloyd has made repeatedly.
For far too long, we have not been straight with the Bahamian people, and we have led people to believe that there is an infinite sum of money that we can borrow until we're drunk with borrowing, that the bills will always be paid, and that there would never be a day of reckoning. Unfortunately, the day of reckoning is right with us. And so there are tough decisions to be made.
The health minister's comments come in defense of his cabinet colleague, who has come under fire for his recent comments on the termination of dozens of contract workers in the Ministry of Education. Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell called Lloyd's comments compassionless and shameful and questioned whether the education minister had taken leave of his common sense and decency. Sands says while the PLP may have an issue with Lloyd's comments, he believes the majority of Bahamians agree with them.
In the bar rooms, over the kitchen table, when sharing a meal, we talk about this all the time. But yet, there seems to be an inability to talk about this publicly. So when the Minister of Education said it, yes, there was the expected political outcry. But the majority of Bahamians say, you know, that man talking the truth.
According to the latest labor force survey released in January, more than 2,500 people were let go from the public service between May and November 2017. While some have called the government uncaring, Sands says it's the exact opposite.
This administration cares deeply about the entire population of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And sometimes with that caring, you have to bring a level of honesty to the discussion.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
And it's night one of Bahamas Carnival, and eager concert goers are making their way to Clifford Park for the first round of the concert series. Miami's DJ Khaled is set to take the stage to host tomorrow's concert, and here's what he says he wants spectators to take away.
Man, just unity, love, and happiness, and joy. And God is always great. You know what I'm saying? God is the greatest, man. That's what people have a good time, man. And that's what it's about. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to uplift people, inspire people, motivate people, and hopefully they have a great time. And let's win together.
The Queen of Bacchanal, Destra, will be taking the stage in a matter of hours, and in the morning, thousands of revelers will take to the street for the Road March. After that, it's back to Clifford Park for DJ Khaled and the Soca King himself, Machel Montano. But Khaled said he's here to do a little more than just work.
It's like a home to me. It's where I recharge, embrace the blessings, but at the same time, I just have a special feeling out here. I like to celebrate all the hard work in Bahamas, and I like to get away and just chill. Right now, I came to get away, obviously to perform at Carnival, but to bring my son aside and my queen, just for us to chill, because I got a real busy year, more touring and more working on my new album, Father of Assad. So, you know, this is where I get like a vibe.
Well, as Bahamians get prepared to flaunt their carnival bodies during Saturday's Road March, our Kyle Joaquin got in one more workout in this week's edition of Fit Friday.
Meet Geraldo Perseni of G-Fit. He's a personal trainer who believes in getting the best overall result for the whole body.
But what we're going to do today is taking a minimalist approach to fitness, which means that there's no excuses. You can do it anywhere, anytime, at any affordable budget. We have 13 exercises in store for you today. 13? 13 exercises.
Good stuff.
And we're going to use body weight composition, resistance bands, and we're going to do these exercises with minimum rest.
Usually when a trainer says minimum rest, I know it's going to be rough. We got some stretching in, and then we got started.
A lot of people try to take the easy route and hit the hips, tie the hips up. Yeah. But this is the actual way to go. This is a correct way to go.
It's going to be chocolate thunder, you know?
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Chocolate thunder.
This guy. Come straight through. 6. You have to beat your last time the next day.
Oh, keep going.
Yeah, keep going. 10. Right down your squat. 1. And come back and take your own.
But there was a trick to this. After each workout, I had to write my number of reps on the chart and beat that the next go round.
This guy knows what he's doing. He has great form, great posture, good breathing. Champion. 1, 2, 3. Now repeat the same exercise this time, beating your last.
Okay. I ain't tired. I'm not tired. I'm just tired.
I couldn't say it any better.
In between all that, get in some planks and back to work.
Looking good, looking good. Keep that pivot. Great, great. Good posture, great. 10 more seconds. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Finish strong, finish strong. All the way up, muscle it up. Muscle it up. Let's go, let's go. Stay with me, let's go. You gotta beat your last. Challenge yourself. Don't limit your challenges. Let's go. Feel that muscle, let's go. Looking good, looking good, looking good. 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds. And when I say go, I want you to give me a slow push-up. Control the exercise. Mind the muscle connection. And go. And go. Way to go, way to go.
And we had even more to go.
5 more seconds, let's go. Nice, breathe, breathe.
Then the finale, the killer.
A side bag, we're gonna put it on the shoulder, then we're gonna perform some exercises. Jogging to the beach in intervals, and then coming back and performing another exercise. All right? Control that breath. Keep that core engaged. Let's go. 15 more seconds. 15 more. Drop that bag. Jog to the water. Bring me some wet sand.
Bring me wet sand?
Yeah, bring me wet sand. Let's go. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. 15 more seconds. Let's go, let's go. Don't give up on yourself. Let's go. No. 3, 2, 1, and we're done. Way to go, way to go, way to go. What we did just now was 13 exercises out, bro, all 30 seconds intervals with planks in between. A full body circuit at a hit intensity.
And what you did there, you tricked me sort of.
Yeah.
I thought I was only halfway through when I was just about done.
Yeah, that's the thing about life. You set goals so high that it kind of causes you to stretch and reach beyond your comfort zone to get at it. And when you're done, you realize it wasn't that bad. How did you feel about that? I feel good. I did okay? Yeah, man, you did excellent. You did excellent.
With another edition of Fit Friday for our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
You did well, Kyle. Still to come on our news, 2 Cat Island men face drug-related charges, plus the Bahamas to host the Regional Council for Foreign and Community Relations. That and more when our news returns.